So the next video is on bacterial endocarditis. Endocarditis means there is inflammation in the endocardium, and normally this bacterial infection causes the valvular and mural endocardium to get involved by the microorganisms, and they get infected, and there is a detachable vegetation that is formed on the surface of the valves. And coming to etiology, generally we see bacteremia, septicemia, pyemia, which are so these contains like bacteremia, there is bacteria which is entering the bloodstream. So what happens is this bacteria get implanted on the cardiac valves which are previously damaged. Like in rheumatic heart disease, we know the cardiac valves are generally damaged by the self autoimmune process. So it causes the valves to get damaged. You can see my previous video on RHD. And whenever there are prosthetic valves, it can also act as an attractant for bacteria and other microorganisms. So generally these bacteremia, septicemia and pyemia occur whenever there is periodontal infection, and when we do hard brushing or any dental procedures, and like tooth removal process, everything. And in GIT infections and urinary tract infections, and also catheterization of the urinary tract and respiratory tract infections like pneumonia. And IV drug users, mainly in IV drug users, we can see the needle is generally infected, and everyone shares those with their friends, and there is generally endocarditis due to bacteria directly enters the bloodstream. And whenever during the cardiac surgery there may form endocarditis, and whenever there is decreased immunity, these all factors can cause significant endocarditis. So next we have about morphology. In morphology, normally mitral valve is generally involved, and we can see vegetations in the bacterial endocarditis. Those are gray or green in color generally, and they are irregular, and they can detach, and or they can form ulcer or perforations. So coming to microscopic observation of this valve, we can see here generally there is an outer cap. This is the outer cap. Just beneath the outer cap we have the bacterial colonies, and in the deep zone we see inflammation and repair happening. So this is the vegetation. So you can see here microscopic structure. We can see outer cap which generally have fibrin and platelets, and just below the cap we have bacteria and bacterial colonies, and in the deep zone we can see inflammation and repair. So it's about the morphology of the valve. And next we can see the clinical features, which are described by modified Duke's criteria. So Duke's criteria have major criteria and minor criteria, and if you can remember, the rheumatic heart disease or rheumatic fever has Jones criteria. Okay, that is different, and this is different. So in modified Duke's criteria, if there are 2 major criteria and 3 minor criteria, then it is diagnosed as bacterial endocarditis. The major criteria is whenever we do blood culture, there is positive for microorganisms like streptococci, staphylococci, and other Klebsiella, etc. And in ECG we see the changes which involves endocardium mainly. So there is cardiac masses on the valve, that those are vegetations that are present. And in minor criteria we can see predisposing heart conditions, and also fever is generally more than 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and we see valvular emboli, vascular emboli, and immunologic phenomena like a glomerulonephritis can be seen. So these are the clinical features of modified Duke's criteria. And when we come to the complications of endocarditis, infective endocarditis, there are cardiac complications and extracardiac complications. In cardiac complications, they may include valvular stenosis or insufficiency due to vegetation formation. There is fibrosis and necrosis also. So it can cause perforation, rupture, aneurysm of the valve leaflets. So it can cause abscess of the valvular ring. These three are almost related, and it can also cause myocardial abscess whenever this infection can spread through the myocardium. And there is suppurative pericarditis, which means there is pus involved, but if you remember, in rheumatic heart disease it is non-suppurative. In rheumatic heart disease it is non-suppurative, whereas in infected endocarditis it is a suppurative infection. And we can see cardiac failure from one or the four complications. Like these complications can lead to cardiac failure. And coming to extracardiac manifestations or complications, so generally these vegetations are detachable, so they tend to be dislodged, and they give rise to the emboli, and extracardiac complications are seen. So emboli originating from the left side of the heart, that is left side, which will go to systemic side. So it enters the systemic circulation, like emboli of spleen, kidney, brain causes infarct and abscess, and also they can cause aneurysms. So emboli arising from the right side of the heart may enter the pulmonary circulation and produces pulmonary abscesses there. So petechiae may be seen on the skin, and conjunctiva due to emboli or toxic damage to the capillaries. In subacute bacterial endocarditis, there is painful tender nodules on the finger and tips of the hand. It is called as Osler's nodules, where in acute bacterial endocarditis, there is appearance of painless, non-tender subcutaneous maculopapular lesion on the pulp of the fingers. It is called as Janeway's lesion. Okay. When you see here, so we can see there is extracardiac manifestations, like in the kidney, it leads to focal necrotizing granulonephritis, and we can see in subacute bacterial endocarditis, we see painful Osler's nodules, and whereas Janeway spots are the painless in acute bacterial endocarditis, which occurs in the pulp of the fingers, whereas Osler's nodules on the fingertips of the hand. And next, it can also cause infarct in the spleen and in the brain, which cause stroke. And also we see petechiae due to emboli, which are disturbing the capillaries. And so yeah, that's it. Treatment is by using antibiotics to kill the bacteria. And thank you.